So again, my name is Julian. I'm the Speco Director of Sales for the Southeast and Central and South America market. And for those of you that don't know who Speco is, we are a security manufacturer. We've been in business for over 65 years now. We started as a speaker company about 65 years ago, hence the name Speco, speaker company. And then in the late 90s, early 2000s, we introduced cameras into the mix. And cameras right now are about 85% of the products we sell. We also integrate everything. So we're a one single solution provider. So we have cameras that can integrate with an audio system. So let's say somebody comes into your property, camera will see an unknown face. It can trigger a speaker to say something. But if it's, for example, tied in with our access control, you can also unlock that door with your face. So all the systems work together when it comes with to Speco. Now, some of the differentiators you might have seen from us, picture right here, again, it's going to be our wall mount recorder. So it's a regular DVR or NVR that's going to be wall mounted in an enclosure, very similar to a security panel or an access control box. The difference is there's going to be a DVR NVR built in. Whole idea is that you can hide this in plain sight. So if you ever have a system where they don't have an IT closet, they're very limited in space, they just don't have anywhere to put a recorder. What you can do is you can just put one of these boxes up and it's going to be locked, hidden right there in plain sight. It is a patented design. That's why you don't see it from any other manufacturer, because we patented the idea when we released it. So we're the only ones that have this. Now, some of the other things we like to do is just to make your life easier, or your technician's life easier, is all the cameras that you purchase from us are going to include a junction box. It's a very low cost item, but it saves a lot of headaches. So when your technicians are installing, the junction box or the back box is going to be included right there. We try to anticipate the accessory you're going to need the most. So the majority of the cameras, you're going to need a junction box. For PTZs, or let's say a multi-sensor, you probably don't need a junction box. You need a wall mount or a pendant mount. So we put the accessory that is most commonly purchased with the respective camera. A big topic nowadays is NDAA. For those of you who are not familiar with NDAA, it stands for National Defense Authorization Act here in the United States. It just means that certain manufacturers are banned from doing business with the US government. You cannot install in any US government facility. And this is trickling down to, I notice in the Central and South American market, NDAA is becoming more of a thing. It doesn't necessarily mean that those companies hack you or anything like that. It just means that those companies are majority owned by the Chinese government. So just to be safe, those companies were banned. For a full list of companies, you can just Google NDAA and it'll let you know. But just so you rest assured, the majority of the products that we offer, so all our access control, all the audio equipment, and the majority of the cameras are going to be NDAA compliant. Same thing with the recorders. We still have a few items that are not NDAA, and for those we're discontinuing and we're releasing the NDAA version of it. But regardless of that, all the Speco products, we use servers based here in the United States. And I say here because that's where I'm at currently. So when you install a system, whether you use our cloud or whether you use our P2P networking to view the cameras on your phone app, the data is going to be pinged here locally. So it's never going to go outside. It's not going to go to Korea or China or any other country. The servers are here domestically, to the point that we are UL 2900 certified. If you're not familiar with that, it just means that we are one of the most cyber secure companies in the market, especially at the price point that we can offer. You can find other UL 2900 companies like Axis, Milestone is one of them. However, they tend to be a little bit pricier. On the day-to-day business, we're the only company that has that UL cybersecurity certification at the price that we offer to our customers. Now, moving along to the actual products, we have the full breadth line of solutions. So your domes, bullets, turrets, 180s, multi-sensors. But the big thing to note here, if you look on the bottom right, is that 5-year warranty. So All the cameras that we offer come with a 5 years warranty, and the warranty process is very simple. We don't even need the cameras back. If you ever do have a camera that goes defective, you can call our tech support. They'll write down the serial number, we mark it, we flag it as defective, and then we ship you guys a new camera. So we don't need the bad camera back. And the reason we can afford to do this is because our defective rate, we track it to be less than 0.5%. So about 0.41% of the products that we sell are defective, which is very, very, very minimal when we sell thousands and thousands of cameras. So that's why we can offer such a strong warranty to our partners. We also offer cloud. I mentioned that earlier. I'm not going to go too in depth with our cloud offerings, but just so you know, it is available for Speco. So if you ever have a customer that doesn't want an NVR, all they want to do is record in the cloud. It's becoming a bigger and bigger topic nowadays. We can offer that. So our cameras can go into our NVR and then the cloud, or you can even bypass that completely. You can go 5 cameras and all record in the cloud. All you need is a switch and an internet connection. For more info, you can reach out to me and I can go over pricing and how that works. But just know that it's available from Speco. And then another big thing, and I'm noticing very heavily when people use other VMSs, we don't have any licensing fees. So we include all the analytics with human detection, vehicle, facial recognition, license plate. We're also releasing metadata, so you're gonna be able to search by somebody's shirt color, if they have glasses or a backpack. You're gonna be able to immediately identify them or find that person. And we offer all of this without any licensing fees. So there is no one-time or recurring or anything like that. It's just included when you purchase the hardware. And some of the different cameras we offer, I just selected a few and I wanted to share them here. For example, what we call our digital deterrent camera. It's a camera that somebody comes in at night, lights will trip, red and blue, mimicking a police officer. A speaker will go off telling the intruder, warning, you're under surveillance. Or you can have your own pre-recorded message. So whatever sound you want to load up, you can, or just choose one of the pre-recorded templates. This can also work with VMSs. So if you have a customer that has like a Milestone, or NSSI, Genetec, Exact Vision, Digital Watchdog, whatever VMS they have, the analytics are on the edge, meaning the camera still can trip even if you record on a different server. You don't necessarily need it in ours. Of course, I'd love for you to have our NVR as well, but it is not needed. You do get more functions when you pair everything with Speco. Some of the different options of cameras that we are releasing is our 5 megapixel dual lens thermal camera. If you ever seen a thermal camera, it just looks for, gives you a picture based on heat signature. But then it's paired up with a 5 megapixel IP camera. So then it overlays and you get kind of an HD video of that thermal view. Now it could be used for several things, such as somebody walks into my perimeter, they cross the fence, they're wearing all black and it's pitch dark outside. They cannot hide from thermal. You cannot turn off your heat signature in your body. So we're always about 98.3 degrees Fahrenheit. Camera will see that instantly. Another thing you can use it for is to prevent fires. If there's a spike in temperature really quick and it's getting very hot, it can send you an alert telling you, hey, I noticed that this pipe is getting very hot right here. You might want to take action before it blows up or before a fire goes off. And then, of course, you might have seen multi-sensors. We also have them in our 180 line. We have it on a multi-sensor, so it's going to be a 360-degree view. We're soon going to be releasing the one on the bottom, which is 4 lenses with a PTZ on the bottom. So pretty much every solution for every application you have, we have the camera available. If you're ever doing a takeover and you encounter coax wire, it's pretty common, and I'm sure you guys have it a lot over there too. There's gonna have coaxial wire from the old 90s where they didn't have IP cameras. You can bring those customers up to date, give them an HD quality picture that looks just like IP, keeping the existing infrastructure. So you don't have to rerun Cat 5 or Cat 6, just keep the 18.2, your coax wire, and plug in the new units and bring your customer up to date without charging them an arm and a leg for rerunning all the wire. It is available. It's not the most popular items, but they are available, just so you know. And we use TVI, which is the most popular compression method when it comes to HD over coax. However, our cameras and our DVRs, they can handle AHD, HD CVI. So if you ever have a customer that has, for example, DAWA, they use HD CVI. They can use those cameras with our DVRs as well. Or you can put our cameras on their DVR. I mentioned the access control earlier on the presentation. We do have it, and it's completely a different hour-long presentation, which I'm not going to share. It's too long, but point of this presentation is that just so you guys know that it is available. So we can scale from a single door up to 128 doors very easily. There's no software needed. Most of the installations that our dealers use our access control for are going to be about 16 doors or less. That seems to be kind of the norm when it comes to our product offering. But of course, we can expand over 100 doors easily. We also have long range readers. So for cars, you can have a key fob that can open a gate. We have Bluetooth readers in case you don't want a key fob. You can use your phone as a credential to unlock a door. And as I even mentioned, if you integrate it with our cameras, you can use our camera with facial recognition to open that door without any kind of credential at all. Now, being a speaker company, of course, we still sell a lot of 70-volt, 8-ohm speakers. If you need help putting together a bill of materials, we have a design team that can help you with that, or I'll be more than happy to help with it as well. But I wanted to mention, if you look on the top left, we release IP speakers. So now you don't need an amplifier anymore. All you need is a PoE switch. You can power up the speaker and you can put background music on it. You can talk from your computer down. You can pair it up with your VMS, because those IP speakers are on VIV. So when a camera sees an event happening, it can trip the IP speaker. You can even do paging. So if any of you do voice over IP phones, you typically are familiar with SIP servers, and the IP speakers can get an IP address on the SIP server, and you can do paging. So from a phone itself, you can page to one zone or to every speaker out there for paging systems. Very commonly used in schools or car dealerships, but it is available with our IP speakers. Now, one big thing is that we have product availability. It was pretty popular back in the COVID days. If you remember, everything was back ordered. Well, we actually had a lot of product offerings, and that's where we got a lot of the market share back. And nowadays, we have product offering. And if you sign up as an elite Speco partner, if we ever not have a product available, most of the time we can upgrade you complimentary to the better product. For example, you wanted a 4-megapixel camera in a bullet form factor, and we just didn't have it. So what we do is we'll work with you, and maybe we get you the 8-megapixel model, or we'll get you the motorized zoom camera at the same cost. We do this for our elite partners as a service, so they can get the product quickly. They don't rely on maybe we didn't have it in stock and they have to wait. We want you guys to get the product, install it, and get paid. Make sure your customer is happy, you're happy, and in turn, then we're going to be happy as well, and you're going to continue buying Speco. Those are some of the things we do for our elite partners, like private labeling as well. So instead of saying Speco, we can put your logo on the camera. It's very simple. There's no setup fee. All we need is your logo. You send it to us. We'll load it in our machine, and then the cost is $1 per camera with a minimum order quantity of 5. So it's very minimal. If you have an 8-camera system, we can private label all the cameras for you. It's going to cost you an extra $8. But instead of saying Speco, it's going to have your company there. So Venezuela Alarm Company, you can have your logo right there. That's just an example. For more details, reach out to me or to Full Protection, and we can get you set up. but it's a very simple process, only $1, very minimal order quantity. Now, we also released what we call the bridge, so I want to briefly mention it. It's something where you can take an IP camera that is not cloud enabled. So if it's cloud enabled, they can go right into our cloud servers. However, let's say you're doing a takeover. Let's say you have high vision cameras out there. What you can do is you can put our regular NVR and then put the bridge. And now we take that IP camera, whether it's from one of our competitors or one of our cameras that are not cloud enabled. As long as you have our NVR, it goes to the bridge and the bridge goes into the cloud. It's also very beneficial if you ever have a customer that just doesn't have good enough upload speed. So during work hours, everything records on the NVR and the bridge, it buffers, and then all that data gets dumped into the cloud at midnight. That way, we don't use the customer's bandwidth, we just buffer it, and when the customer's not working, the bandwidth is available to upload to the cloud, then that's when we send it. And then you can choose maybe only cameras 1 and 2 on the cloud, the rest record on the NVR. That way you're not paying a huge monthly bill, but still get the benefit of the mission critical cameras on the cloud, everything else on the NVR. And this is just what the product looks like. It's partly the size of an Apple TV. It's very small, it just goes on the network and it works with any of our DVRs or NVRs. So now with this, you can even record analog cameras into the cloud. Now, some more solutions we're releasing. Solar, very, very hot topic right now. The way we sell it is going to be solar panels with an enclosure. So you guys will provide your router. We don't care what router you use, preferably a 12 volt, but it doesn't have to be a brand specific. So it doesn't matter the country that you're in, just work with your provider to get a router that's a hardened that you can put in the enclosure, put the cameras up, and that's it. That's all you need. It's gonna work just like a regular system. And then you put an NVR in an office where it's temperature control, and then those cameras will go through the router and record on an offsite NVR. On the left-hand side, it's gonna be very similar, but it's gonna be where you have a pole that has electricity in it. There's just no internet. So what you can do is you can use our UPS backup, record, put cameras there, same thing, put a router or a point-to-point bridge and shoot it back to a building. And just a little teaser on some of the products that are coming soon. We have a doorbell that's gonna have access control built in with facial recognition as well to unlock a door. So it's gonna go right there as your traditional doorbell. Kind of competes with Ring and Nest, but the difference is there's no monthly fees. It records PoE or Wi-Fi into our NVR, and it has facial recognition. We're releasing a 4 megapixel Wi-Fi camera for those instances where you just cannot get a Cat5 to it. As long as you have an outlet or you can run 12 volts to it, that's it. You put the camera on the customer's network and you can record it. Then a 12 megapixel fisheye for those instances. Some applications do require fisheyes. They can be pretty good. We had a 6 megapixel, but now we're releasing that 12 megapixel to give you twice the resolution. And then an 8 megapixel 32 times zoom PTZ. Same thing with advanced analytics. So if he sees a human, it can zoom in and follow them indefinitely or follow them for 5 seconds and then go back into home position, giving you 8 megapixel with a very, very, very far zoom. Lastly, our dashboard. So this is going to be exclusively for our dealer partners where they can monitor the healthcare of every system out there. For example, you install a system, a camera goes bad. It used to be that you had no idea that a camera went bad until the customer called you and complained. Now with the dashboard, we can notify you instantly. Hey, I noticed Mr. Smith's cameras went down. Camera number 1 is not working. Now you can call the customer or send a technician out to fix it before the customer even notices that the camera is down. Most importantly, you fix it before something happens and you don't have recording because the camera was down. Some of the other benefits are, of course, you can manage user. So if you have a camera system out there, the owner sold the business, the new owner comes in, you can delete the old owner and put the new owner right from your computer. So you don't have to roll a truck, you don't have to send a technician, you don't have to keep track of your camera systems. We do that for you. Or the typical, I forgot my password, I can't view my cameras. You can do password resets right from the dashboard itself. So when the customer forgets the password, because it always happens, you can reset the password for them on the fly. In addition, we added a configuration tab, which what it means is, let's say you have a multi-site application. You do all the McDonald's in the city. You can install one, save that configuration, and then when the technicians install on store number 2 and 3 and 4 and so on, you can just dump that configuration. So everything is going to be kind of a cookie cutter system, and you don't have to configure every MBR. You already have the configuration set up, or you can save it. And if the system ever goes bad and you have to replace the NVR, you can upload and then download that configuration right to the new NVR. So it could be quickly set up without having to put all the passwords again, create all the users again. That configuration button is going to save it for you. I'm going to move into the intro into analytics, just to give you guys an idea of what analytics are and how they work. But before I do so, any questions? Or Gustavo, can you check through on the chat if there are any questions so far? Hey, Gustavo, before I jump into this one, can you check if there are any questions on the chat, just because I can't see it?
No worries. At the moment, we don't have any questions.
Okay, fantastic.
But I want to let you know to the assistant, if you have any questions, just let us know. Any question, we're going to help you at the end of the presentation.
Okay, perfect. All right, guys. So for you that use analytics constantly, this is gonna be like info that you already have. But if you're a little bit new into analytics, if you don't use analytics, want to understand it a little bit better, that's what this presentation is for. So there's different types of AI when it comes to video. There's motion detection, there's basic, and there's advanced. So let's just go through the differences, right? What's motion detection? So when you have a camera's seeing the image. When there's motion, it doesn't necessarily mean somebody's moving through it. All it's doing is the grass is green, but it starts, let's say there's a cloud, and that shade of green looks different because there's a shadow. So it thinks there's motion. So all that it's doing when it comes to cameras, unlike alarm systems where they actually have microwave motion detectors, when it comes to cameras, it's just a change in color. Problem is, everything is motion. If it starts raining, there's drops, there's motion. If the wind is blowing leaves, that's motion. So you're gonna get a lot of alerts. Motion detection is very good to be used to record, but not, and I repeat, never set motion detection to send you alerts. Because if it starts raining, you're gonna get about 100 alerts in a second that it's gonna be useless for you. So just know that, do not use motion to send alerts, only use it to set and start recording with motion. Now, basic analytics, what is that? So it works in a very similar manner. The difference is to be able to trip, it's gotta be an object. How does it know if it's an object? It's because it's a very sizable color change that's moving in sync. So it's going to be a lot more accurate because rain is sporadic. It's going to have drops everywhere. Now you have a big color blob that moves left or moves right, and it all moves synchronously at the same time. Then the camera can alert you, I see something is happening here. That's going to be much, much better than your traditional motion. And to top it off, you can do a line crossing or an intrusion zone. What does that mean? You can draw a line on the video camera, or you can draw a little box. And if that object moves into the box or crosses the line, then it can send you an alert. The only bad to it is that it doesn't necessarily know that if it's a car or a pet, it just knows that an object moved into that box. but it's going to be significantly better than your traditional motion detection. So a lot of cameras will have this type of analytic on the commercial market. But when it comes to Speco, even the lowest cost, our value cameras, they're actually going to have advanced analytics. So what does the advanced analytics do? For the value line cameras, it's going to have human and vehicle detection. So it uses motion, it still uses your line crossing or your box, but now the cameras are smart enough to know that that object has legs and a torso and a head and arms, and it's moving like a human. So it's probably going to be a human, a person walking. So it's going to send you an alert when it knows that a person is there. I'll say the person detection is about 98% accurate. It gets it right pretty much every time. But that way you can get an alert if somebody's closing, like going into your business at midnight where there should be nobody there, and you get the alert. You don't care if a cat is going by. You only care if a person is getting close to your door entrance when they shouldn't be there. Or it could be a vehicle. You could also identify vehicles, and if there's a car there, it can send you that alert. This is going to reduce false alarms significantly. So when you have advanced analytics set up and you get an alert, you're probably going to want to take action and maybe call the police or do something instantly with it. Another type of advanced analytic is going to be facial recognition. So it sees a face and it knows that face right there looks like Julian. I think that might be Julian or that might be Gustavo, and then take action. If it's Gustavo, he's a full protection employee, he can unlock a door in his building. But if Julian comes in and he sees my face, then he thinks, I think that guy is a criminal. I'm not going to unlock the door. I'm probably going to have that IP speaker tell him to get out of my property, or I'll call the police. And then lastly, license plate recognition. That's pretty popular nowadays. You see it everywhere when you're driving. License plate is just sees a license plate and it's going to be able to identify that plate. It's ABC123. And if it's a good plate that's whitelisted, I can unlock or open a gate. It's an employee that's driving in, open it. You can also use it for alerts. So if it's a criminal and you load the plate and they come into your building, camera sees the license plate, sends you an alert telling you, hey, this criminal is back. So you can immediately see it. Or you can just export the footage and give it to the police so they can track it down. When it comes to installing cameras, you just gotta use common sense, really. We have some way of recommended guidelines on how you should install it. However, the camera needs to see a face for facial recognition to work. That's pretty much what I tell installers. Don't put a camera right on the ceiling facing down, because it's never going to see a face. It's going to see hair or a bald head. It just needs to see a face. So try to put it at an angle where the camera is going to get the face. Same thing with license plates. So our cameras can identify a license plate up to 75 miles an hour. If it's perfectly placed. However, 75 miles an hour, that's pretty fast. If it's perfectly placed, no worries. However, if you have a weird angle, it's going to reduce that maybe to 50 or 40 miles an hour. We use a lot of our license plate cameras on entrances to communities or buildings where the car is going to come to a complete stop. Camera is going to see a license plate and identify it very easily. They also can record up to 60 frames a second. So for cars that are going 70 miles an hour, you can set the camera to record a very, very high frame rate so it catches the plate. Recommended distance, I'll say, is about 98 feet, which is about 30 meters or so that you can catch license plates. And then lastly, the new AI that we released, and I mentioned it earlier, metadata. So what is metadata? That's unique identifiers of an object. So in this instance, of course, we're going to use people. So you can search for a male that's probably going to be middle age, so somewhere in the 30s, doesn't have a mask, they have a hat with glasses and a backpack, and they're wearing a blue shirt, with shorts that are yellow, right? And it immediately is going to trigger and show you every time you saw that person within that specified amount of time. Say you had a break-in last weekend. You can go back, search last weekend for the description of what somebody say they saw. So it was a guy, right, wearing that blue shirt. Show me every person that came into my business wearing a blue shirt. And immediately it's going to show you every single time the camera saw that. Again, this is included without any licensing fees. So once you buy the advanced analytic camera, it just comes with this ability to search for it. Very useful, so you don't have to go through hours of playback trying to find that person that broke in my business. I can do it within seconds. And that's how AI is evolving to make our life easier when it comes to video and be able to offer better products to our customers and most importantly to your customers.